Okay people, today we're making butter chicken. This one is a simple butter chicken. I mean, it's not even simple. I could almost say that it's dead simple. This isn't the butter chicken that you find or you eat at restaurants or parties. It's not that style. This is the simplest butter chicken you can make. I make butter chicken in 2 different ways, and out of the 2 ways that I make it, this is probably the easiest one. So what you see there in my pot, I've got some oil in there. That's probably about 2 tablespoons. I had the pot preheating on low while I was cutting the onions. That's another thing, guys. When you're cooking, if you're short on time or if you need to cook quickly, it's best to be prepared. So while I was cutting the onions, I had the pot heating and I added the oil. So the oil is come up to temperature, and to that I'm going to add jeera, cumin seeds. So that's roughly 1 teaspoon. Okay, we're going to put that in and we're going to give this a little bit of a shimmy shake. And already, because the oil was nicely heated, you can't smell it, but I can smell the jeera, I can smell the cumin, and you can see it's kind of sizzling away a little bit as well. And you don't want to burn it though, okay? So next up, in with the onions. This was 1 large onion, diced. Oh, can you hear that sizzle? That sizzle is what you want to hear, meaning that your oil is nicely heated. Okay, in with the onion. Give this a little mixy-do as well. And now to this, because I want this onion to cook a little bit quickly, I'm going to add some loon to it, or some people say namak or salt in English. I'm not going to add too much because of the way I'm making this today. So that's half a teaspoon and a 1/4 teaspoon. So 3/4 of a teaspoon. Okay, and then we'll adjust this at the end again anyway, just to make sure. So give the salt a good mix in. And my heat is at low, but I'm going to turn it up to like a medium low. And I'm going to saute the onions until they are done, until they're translucent. And like I always say, scrape the sides down, people, because you don't want your stuff sticking to the sides. That's just going to make a mess for you to clean up afterwards, okay? And a bit of that for good luck. So people, while my onion is sauteing away, I'm going to cut my chicken up. I got roughly 2 pounds of chicken breast here. Normally I use chicken thigh, but I had chicken breast, so I'm going to use this. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to cut it into what I call bite-sized pieces. So about that big. Okay, I'll take that white piece out. There we go, give you a better view. About yay big. Okay, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut all of this chicken up, and we'll come back. Okay people, just to show you how I cut my chicken up, what I call one bite pieces. Get rid of this silver thing here because we don't want to eat that. Bit of a pain to get out, but be careful, don't cut yourself, and cut it out there. So this is the tender underneath. Just cut this up into that. I've got a plate here outside. This is the breast, so cut the tip off at a good size, and then I just kind of 1-inch thick pieces like this. And then cut these into my 1 bite pieces. dead easy. There's no chefy thing going on here. Straightforward cutting, and that's it, done. And then into my side plate over here, and I'll finish cutting those. My onions are going good. Okay, so I got all my chicken cut up. My onions looking good. I'm gonna give these a bit of a good stir now. I'll give the onions a good stir. If you feel like your onions are touching the bottom a little bit, you can always add a little bit of water in. I'm gonna add just a little bit in. Just a little bit like that. And then just, if there's anything stuck to the bottom, scrape it all off. This helps in getting all the flavors together and intensifying them a little bit more. Oh. Just the aroma of onions and cumin is smelling good, people. Get smell-o-vision, call your cable company up, tell them you want smell-o-vision. So I'm going to crank my heat up a little bit, actually turn it down a little bit. I'm going to do it up to medium-low again, and I'm going to let some of this water cook off. Okay, so I'm happy with where my onions are at. So I'm going to add my chili in. That's half a teaspoon. And that was a quarter teaspoon, so 3/4 of a teaspoon. If I need more, I can always add more at the end. The salt I already added in the beginning. I only added a little bit, and that I can always add more at a later stage. And now we're going to add garam masala. That's half a teaspoon. That's all I'm going to add because of what else I'm going to use. And that's half a teaspoon of haldi or turmeric. Because of the way I'm making this, I'm not going to add too many spices into that. Maybe it's add a little bit more, and give this a good stir. And just another pro tip for you guys: when you add your spices in like this, turn the heat down, because high heat will start burning all the spices, and once they burn, they go bitter, and they don't taste right. Then you don't get that same flavor. It'll just taste burnt. And again, like always, scrape the sides down. And let this go for a little bit longer. Okay, that's looking good. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. You hear that sizzle, people? Scrape the bottom if need be. Okay, not adding any tomatoes in this. Now I'm gonna go straight in with my chicken that I had cut up. All of that. There. And this we're going to give it another good mixy do. Just mix it well. Make sure all the chicken is coated in our tadka or base gravy. And then we're going to let this cook now. I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to cook it until the chicken is cooked, and I'll see you then. Okay, this has been cooked and covered for 5 minutes. Let's take a look. Give it a good stir. Yep. Not quite cooked yet, but it's getting there. Let's say it's roughly halfway done. We're going to keep this going for a little bit longer. When this chicken is 3/4 of a way done, then I'll show you the next step. Once I'm done scraping the sides down, put the lid back on, and I let it go for another probably 3 minutes, and then we'll take a look. So that was another 3 minutes. Let's take a look. Yep. Getting a lot closer. As of now, I would say this is almost 3/4 of the way done, and that was only 8 minutes of cooking time. Okay, so now I might give this another 2 more minutes. Yeah, I'll give it another 2 more minutes. So that'll be 10 minutes of cook time, and then we'll add the next ingredients. Okay, open this up. Let's the timer on for 2 minutes. Okay, that's been 10 minutes of cooking now. So now, give it another stir. Oh, it's smelling good, people. This is smelling good. Let's see if it's... Oh yeah, the chicken is breaking. So yeah, chicken is breaking. So now, easy way to tell is just take a piece and just up against the side and just kind of break it. If you can break it, then it's cooked. So now the next ingredient that we're going to put in, secret ingredient. Well, it's not really a secret ingredient, but it's the ingredient that's going to turn this plain chicken. You could eat this chicken by itself as well. I didn't add tomatoes in it because of what I'm going to add next, but this is basically the basis of a curry chicken. So I could add tomatoes. I could have added the tomatoes actually earlier, or even this you could eat as it is. But what we're going to add to this, the secret ingredient which makes this a dead simple butter chicken, is, wait for it, ta-da! Yes, butter chicken sauce. This is butter chicken sauce. I've used a lot of different brands. Out of all the brands that I've used so far, I like this brand. And no, I'm not sponsored by them or endorsed by them, although I won't mind if they would sponsor me, but hey, one day. But yeah, this is butter chicken sauce. You can get this at Costco, and you just add this to your chicken, and that's it. Simple. I went easy on the spices because there's a lot of spices and everything already in here, so you don't need to put too much of your own in. And yeah, we'll get this in. Okay, let's go in with this. There we go. Hear that pop? There it goes. And I'm gonna add a little bit more, just a little bit more water. Put that up to the water. I'm going to give this a good shake to get all the rest of that goodness. Shaky, shaky, shaky. And pour this out. And we're going to give this a good stir. And my heat the whole time has been on like a medium low. Slow and steady with this. You can cook this on a higher heat, but that's just going to dry your chicken out. It's going to be tough, it's not going to be juicy, and it'll be done on the outside, but it won't be done on the inside. And see, already smelling like butter chicken. Well, it's not smelling like butter chicken. This is butter chicken. It smells exactly like butter chicken. If I served this to you at a restaurant or at a party, you won't be able to tell that this was out of a jar, or the sauce at least was out of a jar. So give this a good mixing, people. And now all we're gonna do is we're just gonna let this come up to a boil, a simmer rather, and we're just gonna let it simmer. I wanna thicken this out a little bit, so I'm just gonna leave it to cook, to simmer uncovered for however long it takes, or up until the consistency, thickness that I want. You can do the same thing. You can leave it thin, you can have it thicker, it's all up to you. I'm going to do a little ad promo for KFI, even though I'm not endorsed or sponsored by them, but they make their labels, it's like out of this plasticky stuff, but they make it so that the whole thing comes off, and then now you've got, I mean, wash this out, right? Sterilize it if need be, and you've got a jar. I hate those other labels where they glue it on and you're left with the residue and half the wrapper is still there. So good on you, KFI, sponsor me. You can also cover this and cook it. So I had it uncovered for a couple minutes. Now I've covered it. I just want to make sure that the sauce gets heated all the way through and the chicken is cooked all the way through, and this way it'll make sure that it's all the way cooked through, and it'll cook in the sauce with the lid on. And then we'll take the lid off and we'll take a look and see. Let's take the lid off and see what we got here. Oh, look at that. People, it's looking good, people. See that nice bubbly, and the meat has released the oil as well that we used. It's a good sign that the meat is cooked. So give this a good stir, and it smells exactly like restaurant butter chicken, party butter chicken. So now I actually want to thicken this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this simmer just until it thickens up to how much I want it. Yeah, just let it sit there and let it do its thing. See all that greenery stuff in it? That's all that was in the jar. I didn't add none of that stuff in. Nicely bubbling away there. So with this sauce, you don't need to, the spices that I added in the beginning, I didn't really need to add those, but I added them because I've made this so many times, and I know that for my liking, I need those extra spices in there. But you can try it without those spices and see how it works out for you. So we're gonna let this simmer now for a couple minutes, and then we'll see. Oh yeah, people, look at that. Bubbles and bubbles. That is a good sight, and the smell in here, it is phenomenal. It smells really good. So I'm just letting it reduce. It's not quite thick enough for my liking today. Yeah, just let it go, let it reduce down until you're satisfied. I'm not quite there yet. So okay, people, well, the butter chicken is done. I'm kind of okay with the thickness of that gravy. It could be a little bit thicker, but that's okay for today. Plus I'm getting hungry. I was gonna say hangry, but I'm getting hungry. So the last thing I'm gonna add to it, this is gonna kasuri methi or dried fenugreek leaves. We're gonna add this. I kind of just crushed it a little bit with my fingertips. That goes in. Give this a good mixy-do. The heat is off. So, in case you guys are wondering how long this took me, including prep time, this took me about half an hour. It took me a little bit longer today, probably an extra 5 minutes because of the extra water that I added in. Normally this takes about anywhere between 20 to 25 minutes. But yeah, super simple to make. There's nothing wrong with using the sauce out of the jar now and then. Like I said, the KFI brand is the one that I prefer out of all the ones that I've used before. And yeah, do make this, try it, and then let me know down in the comments. And like the video as usual, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notified of my upcoming videos, share this video, and yeah, until next time. Forgot to do a little tasting, a little sampling of it. And actually, as this sits, it'll thicken a little bit some more by itself. But show you. Look at that. That's just breaking, no effort. I mean, try it. If it seems like that it's not quite breaking or cooked, then you can cook it for a little bit longer. So let's give this a shot. Make sure the seasoning's correct. It's hot. Oh yeah, that is good. That is good. I'm not just saying it, people. That is good. Try this. Oh yeah. Okay, well, I'll see you on the next one.